hometown heroes. And this is the Eastern Iowa OT.
No more stupid mistakes. Right here. Let's go! That's it.
It's Eastern Iowa OT with your own OT, Owen, Thomas, Sebring, but a mere vessel for your Friday night football highlights. With week 4, we exit the non-district portion of the season, though these games do count toward postseason RPI. Even if you start the season 0-4, the real season starts next week. That is of particular interest to Cedar Rapids Kennedy, who was ranked in the 5A preseason top 10, but yet to win a game over its first 3 weeks. I know this is not the start Brian White envisioned for this 2024 season, but a good chance to get right at your home stadium. Kennedy and Washington, one's face printed on the dollar, one on the half dollar. Who's cashing in on a win tonight at Kingston? On the Cougars' opening drive, they chew up over 7 minutes of game clock, trying to wear down this Wash defense. Jacob Doyle taking the bulk of the carries. The kid's a bruiser. One of these guys who just loves taking a hit. Watch him at the goal line, pounding through tackles, driving the feet, carrying guys into the end zone. Doyle rules. That's his third rushing touchdown of the season. Kennedy on the board first. It's 7-0 in the second quarter. Kennedy with the ball, but look at Wyatt Young disrupting the backfield. Kid's one of the most underrated defensive players in the state. Set the Wash record for sacks in a game last week, record that stood for about 40 years. And here's what a good defensive player can do for you. After a turnover on downs, Wash pitch back to Brock Davis. Play works when you're Caleb Johnson, and it's working for Davis. A 65-yard touchdown run draws the game even at 7. Might we have a ball game? Well, Kennedy gets something moving in the final minute of the half. Braden Alber off the pass from Vinny Gianforte, stretching across, gets the ball to the goal line. Cougars go into halftime with a 14-7 lead. Maybe a little bit closer game than a lot of folks were expecting, but Kennedy gets its first win, 28-14. Wash, a lot better than that 1-3 record. Good game coming next Friday against Jefferson. Linmar's come on the 5A radar after 3-0 start. Second straight week with a tremendous test on the road this week's Lions laying it down in Bettendorf. Boy, how good's this kid been? Dylan Mazinski coming into the night. He was third in 5A rushing yards. Gets a big first down here. Good field position for the Lions. Bradley Duncan Porter driving the field goal through the pipes. 3-0 Linmar. Later in the first half, Mazinski again takes the handoff. Kid goes 60 yards for the touchdown. Here's a kid who needs a spot on a college roster. Lions are up 10-9. Lions start to put some pressure on Bettendorf. Mazinski, magic with the ball in his hands. He's running and he's throwing to Landon Sorg. Linmar had a 16-10 lead. Bettendorf scores 17 straight, though. Linmar had a chance to tie it on a field goal at the end of the game, but they miss it. Lions taking their first loss of the season, 27-24. Flashback Friday, 1968, Iowa City splits into two high schools, City High and the newly formed Iowa City West. Since then, nary a year has passed without the Little Hawks and Trojans coming together again in the Battle of the Boot. Here's a guy whose boots were made for walking. Mitch Fick has highlights from what could be a do-or-die game for City High.
Really more of a flip-flops guy, to be honest. And talk about a game that flipped and flopped back and forth tonight. Two of the best quarterbacks in the state helping their offenses just throw haymakers back and forth in this one. Absolute beaut of a night to battle for the boot. City High gets going the first. 3rd and long, Bobby Bacon going to shake off a sack and hit Chase Newton for a major gainer. Later in this drive, Bacon, under pressure, still sizzling. A dart that I totally missed. Newton wide open. You could almost hear it before you saw it to open the scoring. 7-zip Little Hawks on a 15-play drive. West responds quickly. Jack Wallace, like his 90th start for the Trojans, to chase Bop for a big bunch of yards. Then it's going to be Wallace up top to Juju Manson, son of Jason, Takes all of 3 plays to tie this thing up. City High, though, responds in the second, still tied at 7. Bacon going to be extra crispy to Parker Sutherland, all 6 of them. It is a 14-7 Little Hawks league. West with the rebuttal. Wallace to Mason Woods, son of LeVar. Not only is he going to get the touchdown here, but he's going to get a hurdle on top of it. Whoop! I didn't remember when it came up. Ties it at 14. This thing gets nuts. City High keeps the boot for a 4th straight year. 40-39 your final. We're going to come back on camera because we need to recap this finish. I wasn't there. I'm sorry. West goes with 2 minutes left, goes ahead, 39-32. City High drives down, scores, goes for 2, gets it, 40-39, 22 seconds left. Penalties make them kick from their own 12. West ends up missing a 32-yard field goal at the end. Both teams 2-2. Where's the Tylenol, as Clark Griswold once said. Hoping for a little less craziness under the moon here at Liberty. Bolts hosting number 7 Cedar Falls. Second quarter, 7-all. Reese Reddick rolling out and hitting Landon Bell for the score. Extra point gets blocked, so it's 13-7. Ensuing Tigers drive, 3rd and 16. Here's a draw to just get something. Devarian Clark gets something. 16 yards and tack on another 31. A shocker. This place went silent after this. 14-13 Cedar Falls at the break. The Bolts were petrified after this. Third quarter, Bolts respond though. Owen Drapo draping into the end zone. You can kind of see the ball like right there. 20-14 Liberty. Tigers get the lead back quick though. Leighton Wolf, he's got a couple of brothers who are heck of athletes and alumni for the Tigers. He's going to swing it out to Ben Backus, and there's nobody around him. Cedar Falls goes back up 21-20. Late in the third, Reddick on a keeper. This kid is just built different, man. Liberty gets the lead back 27-21. Fourth quarter, Cedar Falls trying to volley back again, but Wolf's pass picked by Logan Lobenthal, gazoon tight. This one gets crazy too. Liberty wins it 49-42. Reddick runs one in with 20 seconds left. Crazy final few minutes. Bolts are 3-1. Tigers are 2-2. I'm spent.
Get out of here. Well, last Friday, genuinely one of the biggest upsets in Metro football history. Prairie just tore Southeast Polk to shreds. The same Southeast Polk team that won the last 3 5A state titles. That win vaulted the Hawks into the state's top 10, but was that a fluke, or are the P-Hawks the real deal? Another unpleasant test on their home field against Pleasant Valley. Opening drive for the Hawks, B.J. Bush Jr. with a Bush push, 50-yard gain, and he's pushed out of bounds at the 15-yard line. Tate Jackson closes that drive with a touchdown. Those boys in orange taking a 7-0 lead on PV, but the Spartans have got their own high-powered offense. Harrison fierce, frightening with the ball in his hands. Game's tied at 7. Down 21-7 late in the half. Wyatt East throws up a jump ball. Tay Alexander gets both feet in bounds. Great play from a talented and tall sophomore. Not enough juice for the Hawks, though. They lose by 17. 2 5A teams still looking for the first W. Winless Senior, winless Urbandale under the lights over in the suburbs. Big play getting the game going for the Rams. Urbandale fumbles on the first play from scrimmage. Senior's on it. No points out of the drive, though. That first play might have been the only highlight for Senior tonight. Second time they've been shut out this season. The Rams still looking for that first win of the year. And this was Thursday night at Kingston. Jefferson trying to stay perfect. Odds are ever in their favor when Des Moines East is your opponent. QB Vernon Benda scoring a touchdown on the first drive. He's been outstanding at QB. He's thrown 10 touchdowns and just 1 pick. Got some skill guys padding those numbers. Check out this catch from L.J. Nenow. Kid is the Cats Nenow. Jeff is 4-0 for the second year in a row. This is the point where the wheels came off last year. See if they can secure a winning record next week when they face Wash. Also last night, Waterloo West beats Davenport North. Wahawks outscored North 22-0 in the second half. West already matching their win total from all of last season. Hempstead out to a solid start. Their only loss is to West. Mustangs now running with a 3-1 record. Coming up, X gonna give it to ya, and by it, we mean a top 10 matchup against Pella, and by ya, we mean our fine Eastern Iowa OT viewers, Xavier football, who's lining up under center tonight for the Saints. In our game of the week, rivalry night at Spartan Stadium, Mount Vernon and Solen, both unbeaten, both ranked in the top 3, both with former NFL players on the coaching staff, both with highlights after the break. Xavier versus Pella, number 3 versus number 10, Catholic versus Dutch Reformed, the Pope versus John Calvin. You get the point. 2 absolute units in Class 4A, 6 all-time meetings between these teams. Half of those were at the Unidome. They played more postseason games against each other than regular season games. Rematch of the 2017 title game. Pella's got an 8-point lead at halftime in this one. They're punting on their opening drive of the third, or not. Tyson Barnes pulls it down. Gutsy move when they're backed up near your own goal line, but it pays off. That might have been the only offensive highlight of the second half for the Dutch. Neither team doing much with the ball in their hands. Fourth quarter, Xavier with the ball trying to put something together. They go for it on 4th and long, but it's broken up near the goal line. Saints do score a late touchdown, but their 2-point conversion fails. Another classic between a pair of powerhouses. Dutch come out on top of this one. Western Dubuque just knocked off Xavier last week. Can the Bobcats get a second straight top 10 win? This week they're in Eldridge. Lancers got some horses on offense, but nothing Garrett Klusner can't manage. Was back there for a big-time sack. Bobcats with a 3rd down at midfield now. Tanner Anderson flying the friendly skies to Caden Culbertson. 42-yard gain down to the 8. Anderson going to my dog, Owen Hable. Touchdown, Bobcats. Western Dubuque got the big ranked win last week against Xavier. Justin Penner and the boys do it again. 21-7. The Bobcats are so back. A few more scores in Class 4A for you. Decorah with a 7-point win. They're number 6 in 4A. Independence is number 6 in 3A. 21-14 final. Clear Creek Amana, wow, upset win over Benton. Lance Peterson and the boys, 21-10. They win it in Van Horn. Well, for the last 20 years, the Solen Mount Vernon rivalry has been owned, operated, and occupied almost solely by an outstanding and opportunistic Spartan team. 2 wins by Mount Vernon in 2022. Their only wins against Solen in the last 2 decades. Well, the new head coach helped keep this rivalry alive and well. Curtis Fader has highlights from our game of the week at Spartan Stadium.
This is a game that people circle on their calendars every year, Mount Vernon and Solen. Separated by less than 10 miles, both teams 3-0, coming into tonight's huge game that could change the entire landscape of Class 3A. It does not get much better than a number 1 versus number 3 matchup in a rivalry so heavily anticipated in eastern Iowa. First Spartans possession, they march right down the field. Eddie Johnson takes the dump off and makes something happen out there. He breaks several tackles to take this ball inside the 10. A few plays later, Johnson finishes off the 6-play, 65-yard drive with a touchdown to give Solen the lead in less than 2 minutes. And from that point on, all scoring came to a halt with some ruthless defense. Spartans stonewall the Mustangs with a clutch sack on 4th down, so we stay 7-0 heading into halftime. Into the third, Kellen Haverback lofts one over the middle, but a tip drill extravaganza sees the ball land in Owen Einwalter's lap. 3 interceptions for Mount Vernon's offense today, but with 2 minutes left in the game, with no timeouts, lightning strikes. Haverback lost one to Watson Krobe, and he's got it. 65 yards to the house he goes, but the Mustangs aren't playing for overtime. Going for 2. Haverback rolls to his right, but his pass is caught out of bounds. Solen hangs on to survive a slugfest, beating Mount Vernon 7-6, proving their worth as the top dogs of Class 3A.
It's a good statement win for us. We really haven't beaten in big teams yet this year. We were ranked number 1 or whatever, and we need a good win to show the state we're up there.
Reporting in Solen, I'm Curtis Fader, Eastern Iowa OT.
Heck of a game out there. We're going to get Williamsburg and Solen in a few weeks. That's got Game of the Week written all over it. For now, each week a statistical showcase for the Raiders. Grant Hooker, Race Heitman, the most lethal combo in Iowa through 3 weeks. First Raider drive, they're in the red zone. Hooker swings it out to Niall Sin, the center. He'll take it all the way down to the 1-yard line, making himself a saint. Sets up a big 4th and goal. Hooker keeps it, walks into the end zone for the first Williamsburg touchdown at 7-0. Before Madison's first drive ends in a punt, and the Raiders are coming for it. Caleb Lucina gets the paw on it, sets Williamsburg up with great field position. A few plays later, Hooker finds his main guy, Race Heitman, quick hitter to the flat. Heitman does the rest. Number 0, barely touched. Williamsburg rolls in this one 67-6. Some more scores to get to in Class 3A for the night. West Delaware getting their second win of the season. They're now 49-7. They're now 2-2. Waller keeps their unbeaten season going, 38-21 final. When we come back, I've got a fever, and the only prescription is highlights from the Cowbell game. Rivalry that dates back over a century. Back on the field of Monticello. The Panthers on the prowl for their first win. We got something stewing in Marengo, a sophomore, already scored over 24 touchdowns. What feats of strength can the Regal Kriegel pull off? Highlights forthcoming after the break.
Okay, going that way. Okay, so you're going to receive at the scoreboard. We'll do this again right before the game. Don't let me screw it up.
Yes, sir.
Okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, good luck to both of you.
61 loop out arrow. Rip tone gun right. 61 loop out arrow.
High school sports are so often the common bond that brings a community together, and tonight that's precisely what they need in LaPorte City. A week and a half ago, Union High School senior Gavin Rohrbach was killed in a car accident. Gavin's memory will carry on through those who knew him, and the Knight community tries to move forward with their first football game since the accident. The Knights dedicating this season to Gavin's memory. Moment of silence from everybody tonight in his memory. The path forward beginning against Iowa Falls Alden, a team that hasn't scored a point this season. Got 3 minutes left in the first quarter of this game. Union's quarterback, Andrew Sadler, tossing up a jump ball. Cooper Spoor rips it away from an Iowa Falls Alden defender for the touchdown. An emotional moment on the sidelines. A Spoor embracing his coach after that one. That'll be the Knights' only scoring play of the evening, though. In the second, the Cadets, Cade Olberding punching in their first score of the season. IFA tacking on another one late, and they win this game 14-7. Earlier in the show, we had the Battle of the Boot. How about the Battle of the Bell, the Cowbell game, one of Iowa's most ancient rivalries. Anamosa and Monticello dating back to 1922, 102nd all-time meeting between the Raiders and Panthers. Also, homecoming for Monticello, winless Panthers and lossless Raiders. The Raiders D-line applying the pressure early. Senior Juan Espinosa getting the sack. Anamosa holding on to a 7-0 lead. Monticello answers back, though, with a 68-yard touchdown. The junior calmly Schaff beats his man and takes it home, ties this game at 7 apiece. Anamosa now on offense. They come marching down the field. Adam Brophy gets the first down with a reception. Number 9, still once more here. Brophy trucks through a defender, fights for those extra yards. The Raiders move the chains. Austin Scranton ends that drive with a touchdown. Anamosa now 4-0, already matching their win total from last year. 21-point win over the Cats. The Cowbell goes to the boys in blue. West Branch coming off their first win of the John Nestor coaching era, looking to get streaky as they head up the highway to Cascade. Cougars punting early, but I see London, I see Tate France getting in there for the block, sets the Bears up deep in Cascade territory. At the goal line, Cooper Gates, a monster hole, puts the Bears ahead 7-0, getting it done on special teams, on offense. Now, Oliver Trepanier jumping the route for the interception. More good field position for the Bears. Gates was running all over Cascade. They spoil the Cougars' homecoming with a 35-13 win. West Branch now back to 2-2. Class A ball between Lisbon and Highland. Lions only have allowed one score through the first 3 games. They've won 5 straight against the Huskies. Lions strike early in the first quarter with Tiernan Boots, from the Battle of the Boot to Tiernan Boots with a touchdown. The Huskies push through that strong Lisbon defense with Jose Ramirez, though, finding a way for just his second touchdown against Lisbon's defense this season. Lions do get a response on the 2-point attempt. Dakota Clark with a hit stick. The Huskies answer with, after that play, though, Tiernan Boots for Lisbon, doing more damage on offense. Kid was a state runner-up in the 100 and 200-meter dash last spring. He gets a touchdown run here. Lisbon wins 49-6. They're 4-0 and looking mighty impressive in Class A. Starmont continues its rebuild, trying to keep East Buchanan winless as the Stars travel to face the fighting Michelle Monahans. East Bucks got the ball early, down on the 3. Keenan Pals making pals with a defender, carrying a guy with him, gets the score, and the Buccaneers have a 6-0 lead, but that was their last score of the night. Next drive, Starmont's faced with a 3rd and 20. Nick Wilfong heaves it downfield to Camden Hamlet. Something's rotten in the land of Winthrop. Great catch, sets up a Starmont touchdown. Ensuing East Buck drive, defensive stop for Starmont. Jack Thole, interception. Starmont, Sterling over the first 4 weeks. 31-point win for the Stars. They got to be ranked by this time next week. And before we get to our final game of the night, I want to run through some stats for Iowa Valley's Nolan Kriegel. He's got 8 passing scores, no picks, 16 rushing touchdowns, continues his impressive season with interceptions, kick returns, and punt returns too. Did I mention he's a sophomore? Kriegel the Eagle, flying high in 8-man ball. Let's re-rack those highlights, get those things going again. See that Iowa Valley crowd leading this team now. They've averaged 68 points over the first 4 wins. Late second, Tigers up 40-0. Kriegel calling his own number, follows the lead blockers, big gainer down the sideline until he's tripped up. And on the very next play, Kriegel finding his man, Caleb Hawk. A ball hawk, 26-yard touchdown pass, making it look easy. Iowa Valley with a 48-0 lead, and the defense, they're stingy as well, shutting down English Valley's. Tigers win 70-16, scored 70 or more in 4 games so far this season. Let's wrap this up after the break. Mitch and I getting on the road to Minnesota in the next 12 hours, but we've got a play of the week to get to before we win back Floyd. Still more EIOT coming up after the courtesy and after our last commercial break. The 4-week barrier was a point last season when Jefferson's win streak met its end. 5 losses to end the year, and we're going to find out next week if they can flip that script against Wash next week. But for week 4, the Jayhawks have got a firm grip on our play of the week. LJ Nenow, the kid's a junior, had 7 catches last night. None more impressive than this one, where he goes over the top of these East defenders like they're a couple of Goombas. Nenow with 5 touchdown catches this season. And our week 4 play of the week. Great play from him, great play from a lot of kids over at Jefferson. They've looked good. Cedar Rapids, Washington, even though they're just 1-3, they've made a lot of strides over the first 4 weeks of the season. Looked good against Kennedy tonight as they were only down by 7 at halftime. And that's going to be probably our game of the week next week when it's Jefferson and Washington. Join us then for more Eastern Iowa OT, more high school football coverage as district play gets going next Friday night. We will see you then.